What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. March is here. We've already said it, and it is time. The SEC tournament is this week. Following that will be March Madness. The mayhem will begin on Sunday. We will know what the NCAA bracket will look like, who Kentucky will be facing. Obviously, before we get there, though, we got to take care of business and do what we can at the SEC tournament, as we will be playing the first day on Wednesday. We will get to that here shortly. So tonight, just a little roadmap, look ahead, of what tonight's episode is going to look like. We're going to break down the UK-Florida game. We're going to have a little bit of grading the regular season. Me and Colton both have a little bit of games that we will throw out there. Then we'll do a little SEC tournament preview, talk a little bit of golf since the Players is coming up this week as well. And then we will kind of close it out from there. So, fellas, didn't mention this because I didn't want you to go ahead and be thinking, so I have a little fun thing for you all. This is not part of the game, but I thought I would throw this out there for you all. For the ones listening, they have had no prep. We will see how they do. It could be really, really bad. It could be really, really good. I just thought it would be fun to do. All right, so I'm a Kentucky player right now in the state. There was some big news, if you want to call it. Braden Hawthorne is coming back to Kentucky. We have somebody for sure that we know that will be there next year. So you are the coaches. I'm the player. I want a 1 minute to, I'll give you a minute and a half. I want a minute and a half sales pitch of why I need to come to Kentucky. Okay? So you all have a minute and a half to give me a sales pitch of why I need to be at the University of Kentucky. Now, again, for those listening, they have had no prep.
Oh, gosh, this is hard right now.
Oh, it is hard. I know. And it couldn't be
hard.
It might be one of those
show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. It could be one of those things where you freeze up.
What we do for a living.
Mason, Colton, does
That's
either
true.
one of you all want to volunteer to go first?
Shoot, I'll go.
Go ahead, Bulldog.
Okay, I'm gonna. You can start right now.
All right, first off, here is everyone that is currently in the NBA that went to the University of Kentucky. These guys all made it in the NBA by coming here and developing at the greatest basketball school in the country. And now I'm going to get to give you $4 million on top of that. So not only do you get to come here develop for your future bank account, but you get to go ahead and pile it on while you're coming. We're talking about every game being televised by ESPN or CBS. You're talking about the biggest stadium in all of college basketball, playing in front of the largest fan base in college basketball. We're talking about sponsors, media availability. You're talking about being a king of the campus. I don't have anything left to say, but all I know is that this is the best tradition in college basketball, and you can be a king at Kentucky. Go Cats.
All right, pretty good. I mean, for no prep, that was pretty good.
All right.
All right, Mason, what you got for me? Your time starts, and Colton's was under a minute and a half. I didn't have to stop him at the minute and a half mark. So your time starts now.
Time out. Is this completely separate? Is this completely separate, or are we like tag teaming on? Like
separate, completely separate. You can so feed off what he. You can
repeat it if you need to.
You can repeat some, yes, but do what you want. All right, your time starts now.
Right. Mr. Gerald, I love your game, and I just have one question for you. Are you ready to be part of the greatest tradition in college basketball history? We have 8 national championships. All right, we've won the most SEC championships. We are here building a tradition here at the University of Kentucky, and we want you to be a part of that. I know you've probably been watching the past couple years, right? And it hasn't lived up to our part, but that's why we want you. We want you to come in here and be the guy and lead this program to great heights. Do you have that in you? And I tell you what, while we're at it, I'm gonna drop a bag on you. I'm gonna give you all the money you want, and you're gonna come in here, and we're gonna take this program back to where it was supposed to be and go get number 9. Let's go.
All right. Y'all both kept it around the same time, like right at that minute mark. I mean, y'all didn't go past.
Do you have it in you? Who are you, Pope?
We
Do
want
you
you
have
to
it?
lead us back.
That question keeps getting people from not coming. Do you have it in you? Obviously, I do. I'm the number one recruit.
It was a little different dynamic. Like Mason was giving me more of that, like inspirational, like coaching. Yeah, and Colton was kind of more of like, I guess, the general manager top. Like, but it was a good.
I was Cal and he was Pope.
We need look, me and him. That's what I'm saying. Like we come in together, we're getting a recruit. That's all there is. Perfect.
You take care of business together. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, pretty good job, fellas. I mean, I was impressed. We could sharpen it up a little bit, but with no prep, I thought y'all nailed it. All right, so let's get into the University of Kentucky Florida game that was played this past Saturday. Fellas, this is one of those games. I mean, I was at the game. This is one of those games that, you look at the score at the end of the game, and it's closer than what it was. It turned out to only be a 7-point game, but it was a larger margin than that throughout the entire game. But Florida goes on to Kentucky's senior day and gets the W, 84-77. You had a lot of different ways to attack this, but one thing I do want to start out is, being at the game, I do want to start with the atmosphere. I can tell you firsthand that Rupp is still electric. Rupp still shows up and shows out. And, Claire, she made a funny, like, not question, but point to me, like looking at this game, it was packed. There was not an open seat in the house. They had these like wristbands that lit up Rupp at different times. It was a bunch of activities. It was really cool. But she was just like, man, we can't even get into the game. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. We can't. And so I almost, we've heard this like, hey, Rupp needs to do something different. It needs to like put some of those rowdier fans, the students down closer. But it's one of those things that if your team doesn't give you an opportunity to cheer and you're down the entire game by a large margin, the crowd can't do its job. And that's the way that I felt. And I felt really bad because like there were so many times that the crowd was ready to explode and get into it. And we were starting to come alive and it was getting closer and closer. And then they go on this huge run and then just suck all the momentum. And like as a fan, it's just so tiring to be there, especially in person, and want to give them and kind of lead them to that win and carry them by just trying to build the environment and give it all you got. And yet you can't do that because there is no environment to get into because the game itself is just, it's out of hand. But Rupp was electric. I mean, I can't brag on enough of just Kentucky fans. Again, that's why I feel like, we look at ourselves as the pinnacle of fan bases. Like we are hard and none to nobody, like it was awesome. So, but looking at the game, so I was watching in person, but on TV, apparently you all didn't even get to see it until it was 11-0. So, immediately, as soon as I'm assuming you all turned it on, you're like, oh, well, here we are. Okay. But Florida opens up the game on an 11-0 run. We actually did cut it, though, to 1 with the score of 2019. And then they followed that up with another 13-0 run and extended that lead to 33-19. And from then on, it was kind of just catch-up ball. But looking at a couple of stats, Otega Oweh was the biggest factor for us that just completely kept us in it the first half. He had 17 first half points. I think the next closest leading scorer the first half was like 4 points. I think Denzel Aberdeen, I don't know how many he scored the second half, but him and Chandler was not above 5 points. But eventually they did get theirs, or Denzel did. But looking at some individual stats, you had Otega Oweh, who finished with 28 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. Denzel Aberdeen had 15 points, 4 assists. Again, only 1 turnover. And also added 5 rebounds in there. Mo Diabate, 10 points, 6 rebounds. Camarino, 6 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Andre Ilovich, 7 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. But then, man, I mean, like, there's so many ways we can go about this, but let's just break it down about, like, what is it that you all seen in the first half, Mason, starting with you, that kind of was just like, man, like, here we are again. Like, what was some of the things that you noticed, like, that just puts us in this pickle that, like, here we are, we're down 11 points, we're down 13 points because of these such huge runs that we continuously are giving up. So what is it that is standing out to you, how is it that we keep allowing these runs to occur over and over and over?
Yeah, I mean, one question I have for you, because like you said, we didn't really get to start watching it until like the 11-minute mark. But the first, I mean, I was looking at the box score and the play-by-play, and I don't think I missed a shot their first 6 shots.
Yeah,
Were they wide open? Were we playing
well,
decent
so
defense?
I think they may have made 2 threes. One of the threes was wide open. One of them was like a Xavier, like his first three was like a little shuffle step back. Like, it was a tough shot. And I was like, oh my goodness, you are not like that. Like, I feel like this dude loves to go off on us, like as he did in Florida. However, though, the rest of them, it was just like what it was the entire game. They were making inside shots because we were giving up so much room, that they were getting so far deep in the paint that it really wasn't a tough shot. So that's what it was. It wasn't that, it was tough shots made other than maybe 1 or 2 shots. It was just that we allowed them to get so far deep in the paint that they had either a kick out wide open 3 to Thomas Howell, or it was just, their Biggs Condon, or what's some of the other big dudes? Chinaloo, or Howell himself. That was just, they were so far deep in the paint that, they had a bunny layup or just a turnaround hook shot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that stood out to me is, like, I kept sitting there telling myself, like, my goodness, they can't miss. But, like you said, they're just little turnaround hook shots in the paint, getting good looks. And it's not like we were giving up wide open looks, but I mean, you're a D1 college basketball player. Like, you're going to hit most of those shots, right? When you get down in the paint, especially the type of level bigs that they have. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is, like, and you look at the other side of the basketball with Colin Chandler, Otega Oweh, and Denzel Aberdeen, we only have one guy performing. And we've talked about this. Like, yes, that's probably our biggest strength is those 3, but whenever one of those guys, and then you have 2 of those guys who aren't scoring in the first half, it's going to be really hard to hang with somebody like Florida. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is, like, whenever we face a team that we can't get stops on, and you don't have our guards firing on all cylinders, that's going to lead to teams going on these 10-0, 12-0, 13-0 runs, whatever it may be. And, we have to find a way to be able to stop the bleeding. And, I know Pope burned 2 timeouts in the first half when they went on both of those big runs, trying to stop the bleeding a little bit, but it didn't seem to work. And I just think that's our biggest struggle is whenever one of those 3 is not clicking. And in this game, we just happen to have 2 of those 3 not clicking, especially in the first half. And Oweh did everything he could to keep us in it. But I mean, when you're playing somebody like Florida, it's tough.
And I don't want to take anything away from Florida. Like, Florida is good. Like, I told Claire at the game, and I've told my dad as well on the way. Like, it's like, they completely took Colin Chandler out of the game. And we've talked a little bit about it as well. Like, he's got to be able to dribble the ball a little bit better to create and get to the hole. But I will tell you this, like, it wasn't like Colin Chandler was not working to get open. Like, I don't know what it looked like on TV, but the man was gassed because he was going everywhere and their guards were just glued to him. So you take that and what they like the presence that they bring on the defensive end for their bigs, where they have to alter shots. I think they probably leaded the country and miss layups from opposing teams. Like, as good as their offense is, their defense is just as good, if not better. Like, and it's impressive. So I don't want to take anything away from Florida. But Colton, one thing I do want to make a point is, we talk about these games, and it's like if there's one stat category that it's and the weird thing about it, it's not really the same one that is always appearing, but there's just one stat line that always seems to pop up, and that's the difference maker because you're looking at this from the free throw. They went 20 for 32 at 62%. We went 17 for 21 at 81%. I mean, they hit 3 more free throws than we did. From the three-point line, they hit 8, we hit 8. Whenever you're looking at turnovers, they had 10 to our 12. Paint touches that scored, they had 38 to our 32. Second chance points, they had 16 to our 14. Their bench, we actually outscored their bench 19 to 10. But the one stat that just is the game is the fast break points. They had 24 fast break points to our 4. So is that something that is more credit to them or less credit to us on our defense standpoint? Because I mean, 24 fast break points, that's a lot of fast break points. And I don't know how many they had in the first half, but that's the majority of where they got that, which made that lead extend.
No, I mean, it's a little bit of both, but it's coaching. So credit coaching. I mean, look, if we were watching, Diabate hit a 3 to cut it to I want to say 11-9.
Yep.
And the crowd was going wild, and
Scored in, like,
Diabate was
3 seconds.
celebrating, and they come down and beat us across the court because they got the ball right out of the goal.
I think that's where
Threw
they
it
had
up
the
and
dunk,
hit
wasn't
a
it?
third. No, they hit a 3, I think. Then they
Oh,
make
3.
it 14-11. Yeah, so like or 14-9. Like we just went up. We just cut it to 9-11 with his 3, and we were celebrating, and they had it across half court shooting a 3 before the camera could even get across to show it half the time. And that's
Well, and
good coaching. Like that's a team that is disciplined enough to not let the crowd get into it and to not let the crowd get the players like that you have an objective, get the ball out of the go. Like that's what it is. And like and on the other end, they're celebrating. It's not great coaching when it comes to transition defense. I mean, it's just a part of it's a lack of effort. You gotta be willing to make a basket and run back as hard as you can after you make it. Like that's just basketball. And if you don't, if you want to spend any time celebrating your own basket or you want to or pouting that you didn't hit it, I mean, they were scoring. I mean, they were getting back, and it's just one of those things where they were so disciplined that they didn't allow us to they didn't allow us to just continue on a run without them firing right back at us.
Well, and that was, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly how it felt being there in person. That, any time that we had some momentum and the crowd was getting into it, they would come down and make a 3. We would get like a daisical and they would have a transition. And it was just, and the thing about it is, it wasn't that it was just that one field goal. Obviously, that sucks the whole air out of the stadium, but it was that happened. And then it was back-to-back buckets that like extends the lead even more. So that was something, looking at that, like, oh man, we had our opportunity. Like, fellas, like, please just get a stop. And our defense at times, at stretches, looked decent. Like we would have a late shot clock and they would bail out on I know Conan hit a bank 3 late in the second half that like we was finally making a little bit of a comeback. But again, it comes back to, okay, great job to the Wildcats on making it a game again. We find a way to fight back. But again, we come back to this point that, it's just too little too late. You allowed the lead in the first half to get so far out of reach and out of hand. You were down 17 points in the first half going into halftime. Like, you can come back like we've done that against a Tennessee. We've done that against an LSU. Like, you can do that on occasionally to decent teams. But with a team like Florida, who is as hot as they are, you can't do that. And just to go to say more than that, you can't do that at home. So looking at that, like, what does that mean moving forward? And then we'll kind of get into our grading of the regular season. Like, Mason, like, is that something that you foresee this team we've battled it all year? Is that something that's just going to magically disappear in tournament play, or is this something that we probably will see that hopefully if it does occur, it occurs against a team that is not like on a Florida level. But eventually, if we win some of these games, we're going to match up against a good team.
Yeah, I mean, why would it disappear? It ain't disappeared yet, So I don't know. I mean, obviously that's our biggest downfall. We've said it all year, right? Like we go through these scoring droughts. Basketball is a game of runs, and if your runs aren't bigger than the other teams, then you're going to lose. And more often than times not this year, our runs have not been bigger because we go through these scoring droughts. And I just like Pope's such an analytic guy, and he keeps killing me with like these subs. Like these guys got to play more. No, it's March. It's win or go home at this point. Like you're out there to win. Stop and I'm not going to say like this particular game was on his subbing patterns because our starters got down 11-0 to start the game. But we cut it to 1, right? I think it was like 19-18 or something like that. Jasper Johnson comes in. What's he do? He turns the ball over, lazy, bad turnover, and then he comes down and has a flagrant foul. Like that's a potential, let's just say 3 points. That's a
It
potential.
was a really bad foul, and it was in a really crucial
and it
moment.
changed the whole momentum of the game. Like I don't understand his philosophy still going with that and saying, oh, these guys need to play less. These guys, our subs, we have to go deeper. We have to go deeper. Like I just at this point, like I get during the regular season, you're not trying to wear your guys down. You don't want to play them 40 minutes a game. I get that. At this point, it's win or go home. Like you have to have your best players in the game as long as they can go, and you have to be smart about it. Like we've talked about it. If Oweh's sitting there saying he needs a break right before the 12-minute mark, get him out, get a dead ball, get him out, and then you put Jasper Johnson in there, and I promise you, as a coach, I'm telling Jasper, first time down the floor, you go for a reach, and if you don't get the steal, you foul that man so we can get you back out of this game. You take one for the team and get you back out.
Colton, there is one thing that I do want to bring up because I have seen stuff online about this, heard it, read it. It's, whenever Coach Pope does call a timeout, he goes to his coaching staff first, and then we'll go to the players next. So I really wanted to watch that. And it's something I don't think you get to watch enough of on TV because of the TV timeouts, and it always goes straight to commercial. But I watched that, and what I found is that I'm watching Todd Golden and his staff, and Todd Golden and his staff are doing the exact same thing. Like, so I'm wanting to be like, okay, maybe that was something that was kind of blown up out of proportion, that like most programs may do this because the timeouts are so much longer, which then goes to even further another point that we've talked about how much time these dudes are playing. Like you have so much time, so many timeouts, and you forget when you're watching it. But when you're there in person, I feel like, oh my goodness, like you have plenty of time to take a little breather. But back to that point though, so that was the same. But one thing that stood out to me that I don't know if I want this in a coach because I think it's somewhat whiny. But man, Todd Golden, and I was screaming at him the entire time. When they were up 17 points in the first half, anytime that there was a call made, Todd Golden was in them refs' business, and he was letting them have it. I mean, every single call. And I mean, it was so aggravating from a fan. But then I look at Claire, and she's like, do you not like him? And I'm like, no, I can't stand him, but I love it. It's where, and I don't want to say like, oh, that's something that's bad on Pope or to blame Pope. But what I do want to say is that, I don't want Pope to be something he's not. But, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, when we cut it to like 6 points there, and I know that we didn't have that timeout, and that's why we couldn't, we couldn't have that challenge when they stepped on the out of bounds line, because I'm sure they showed the replay towards the end of the second half. But Pope wasn't even arguing, getting in the refs. And I'm just like, dude, like, show some fire. Like, you have the opposing coach up 17 points and is getting in his guys every wakening moment. And then you're cutting it close here. Like, show me something, man. Come on, brother. Like, give me something. So what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you watch all the very respectable coaches,
So I was about to say,
I mean, think about when Cal was here. I mean, Cal was he was he was getting on a player every second or he was getting on a ref every second. And from our viewpoint on the TV, you're like, man, he always yelled. The moment that player messes up, he looks at the bench, get him out. But something call happens. I mean, he's sitting there. Even if the team would score, even if we'd score, he would sit there and complain to a ref like it should have been an and one. It should have been this. It should have, and it was constant like that. And you would sit there and be like, oh my goodness, Cal's complaining, or Cal's, going to make the players mad. And yet you always see how much they love him and how much they respect him. The same thing with Kansas. Bill Self's the same way. I mean, you watch these guys, Tommy Izzo, Rick Pitino, right? Like they're constantly, and they've earned that respect not only from the refs but the players. And at times when we've had to question the effort of this team, could it possibly be a respect thing? Right? I mean, I don't mean that in a big way. Like, I don't think there's a single player on that team that would not think that Pope's a good guy. Like, I don't think anyone questions that. But as a leader of men making $2 or $3 million, what kind of respect do they have for you? What kind of respect does the refs have? And that stuff matters. And I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying, like, we've questioned effort multiple times over the last couple of years. Like, where did this come from? Like, the effort looked like they did not care. And if you're truly respecting the man that you're playing for and the jersey that you're wearing, then you don't play like that very often. Not as many times as they have. And so, yeah, I think that I'm not telling Pope that he needs to go and be like something that you're not. Like you said, I'm not sitting there saying that. But still, like, at what point does your philosophy probably need to change a bit given the time and day and the surrounding coaches and what's working? I mean, look at Dan Hurley. I mean,
Yeah.
He's crazy. But I mean, he bumped a ref and got ejected. But his players probably love him on the inside. I mean, we're sitting here thinking how crazy he is, but he's also won 2 of the last 3 national championships, or 2 of the last 4 national championships. So I mean, I think there's
Mason,
something to
I feel
it.
like you have some thoughts on this too. So go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
on
I mean, adding on to that, I agree completely, because you sit there and think about it, like, you have it like growing, like playing in high school, like my coach. I mean, he was a fiery coach, and he was going to let refs hear it constantly. And I feel like part of that, like as a player, it's like, okay, my coach is taking up for me, right? Like he's sitting here, he's fighting for me, so I'm gonna go fight for him, right? And being a coach, Dylan, you probably know this. Like, I would talk to refs too. There's a fine line, right? Like if you go too far, they're gonna let you know. Like most refs aren't just gonna turn around and tee you up. They're gonna be like, all right, coach, that's enough. Like, calm it down a little bit. All right, I've heard enough from you. Cool it down.
But does Pope even ever get to that extent?
You said your
like, did he ever have a referee that says, "Hey, Pope, cool it down like a little bit"? Even though he's got 1 or 2 technicals this year, like. And again, I don't want to make it a bigger deal that, like, oh my goodness, you all are blasting Pope because he doesn't complain refs. I think it's a lot bigger picture than just that. Like, if you was there watching this game as a spectator, I just look and I see that killer, that Todd Golden. It gets on my nerves so much. I mean, I was yelling at him the entire time. But then I look and I'm like, man, I like it. I want that. Like, that's what I want to see in Pope. Like, and again, I don't want him to be something he's not. But man, like, it was something that, like, you just found yourself like wanting. I feel like, and I feel like I probably wasn't the only fan sitting there being like, man, I wish our coach would be doing something similar to that. Like, but again, it's a fine line, like you said, and that's what it comes down to. But getting into the overall season in itself, Mason, Colton, we finished the regular season at 19-12. So before going into postseason, whether this episode comes on game day Wednesday or on Tuesday, fans and whoever are listening, they will be listening to it hopefully before the game itself when we play LSU. What is the regular season grade? And you can elaborate off that. What would you give this team? And Mason, I'm going to hand it to you first, then I'll go, and then Colton, I'll let you finish us out on this.
I'm going to give it a C, just because of the injuries we've had to deal with this year and some of the guys we haven't had. And I know part of that, like, the JQ thing, that's partially on Pope for paying him that coming off an injury. I get that. But, losing Cam Williams, losing Jalen Lowe, and I mean, I feel like this team, like he's done a good job with this team of getting them to kind of fight back and, not folding, not giving up during certain points in the season when they definitely could have, right? Like we're at a real big low there, coming off that Missouri game, right? We got blown out by Gonzaga, got blown out by Michigan State. We lose that Missouri game at home. So I'm gonna give him a C. We've had some good wins. We've had some good games. There's been spurts where we've looked pretty good. We haven't had the consistency with this team. And I think, part of that probably goes back to some of the injuries, but we've also had some bad losses. We've also not led in a lot of games this year and, had to claw our way back in a lot of games. So I'm going to go with a C. I feel like it could have been higher, maybe could be a little bit lower, but I think overall with everything that's happened this year and how the season started, I'm going with a C.
So we finished the season at 19-12. We lose in Rupp Arena, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. We lose in Rupp Arena this year, 4 times. And the worst thing about it is, I think, looking at who we lost to, we lost to a bunch of mediocre teams this year. We lose to Missouri and Georgia both at home. You can't do that. You cannot lose to Missouri and Georgia at home. You lose to Auburn, who was on, I don't know how big of a spell it was on how many games they lost coming into that game. You lose to Texas A&M, who, yes, did finish top of I think top 4 and got the 4 seed double bye. But at the same time, mediocre team. They had the easiest schedule in the SEC. We've talked about it before. You finished 9th place in the regular season SEC. You get beat by 15 plus points 4 times this season to Michigan State, Gonzaga, Alabama, and Vanderbilt. Now, on the flip side of that, you did beat Tennessee twice. You beat Arkansas on the road. You beat St. John's, who has turned out to be a great win, who will probably be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. You beat Indiana, who is just mediocre, I guess, but they still are Indiana. You adapted to some injuries, feeding off what Mason said. So looking at that, I had the same exact grading as I give this a C for this team. Because as much as, you look at the comebacks we did have, I mean, I just sit here and I think also, just playing devil's advocate, we beat LSU on a last-second shot. We come back 17 down to Tennessee at Tennessee. We have beat some really good teams, but it's not been a flip side of the, it could have went either way, in a sense that it was really, really close, like a 1 or 2 point game. Like those 1 or 2 point games, other than the Auburn, it goes to my point. The close games we have lost, So overall, I'm gonna give them a C. I think there was a ton of room for improvement that could have been. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a failure of a season thus far because it's not over. We still could make it to the second weekend and make a Sweet 16 run. Who knows? Make a crazy Elite 8 run. I don't know with this team. I mean, they are literally the unthinkables, the whatever other word unpredictables. You just never know what you're going to get out of this team. But overall, I'm going to give them a C. Colton, what about this team?
I'm going to give them a D plus. You were projected second in the SEC this year. You obviously the reports, whether or not they're true or not, about the $22 million. The fact of the matter is, though, you are Kentucky, and you should probably be the highest NIL. Whatever you spent on your roster probably should be pretty close to the highest. At least top 3 between you and Arkansas or whatever it is. But it may be accurate with that number. You were projected second in the SEC. You went and bragged about how you had a Ferrari after you played before the Purdue game, and because you bragged about how deep you were, and we watched. We believed this because we missed out on Caleb Wilson, and we missed out on these ones that we thought were committed to us. And, we were like, but, we chose to essentially not pay the bag to some of these guys to have a deeper roster. And at the end of the day, the only reason that it's not an F is because you lost your point guard. However, you built a roster full of 12 or 13 deep and didn't get a backup point guard. Like, that's on you. You could have went and got a backup point guard. You take Arkansas. They've got Acuff, who's their backup point guard. DJ Wagner. I wish DJ Wagner was their backup point guard right now. I know he can't shoot, but I would still take him as a point guard as a whole. Like, we don't have a backup. How do you not have a second guy? And you have just so many, like JQ thing. What did we say before the season started? I said that before the season started. Like, we have way too much hype around JQ for a guy that's coming off an ACL injury. And look, the man didn't even end up playing. And we've wasted all the money for him to sit on the bench. It's just so you take some of those mishaps of the roster construction. You take the letdown games of Georgia, Missouri. Look, I was at the Kentucky-North Carolina game. North Carolina was not that good. They were not that good. There's
At that
no
point
way
in the
we
season,
lose.
they were not that good.
And the thing is, we were like up 6 with like 2.5 minutes left and lost that game.
We're up 8 against Missouri, I think.
Same thing with Missouri.
Right.
So you had bad home losses to teams that you were better. And that's the thing. You finished 9 seed in the SEC. No period should you like there are at least 4 or 5 teams that finished above us that we are more talented in with the current roster that we have.
I agree.
The current roster we have. And so you can't sit there and just blame injuries. And so to me, between the substitutions, the not, the lineups that they've played, to me, the offense as a whole this year, compared to what we saw last year and the ball movement and the type of shots that we got off compared to how stagnant the offensive went, how many times we go in droughts this year, like it's crazy to me. The only thing that keeps it from truly failing is because of a few of the injuries, and because I'll give him credit. I'll give it credit on at least rallying the team when they could have just completely gave up.
We did win 7 games in a row. Was it 7 in a row?
We did.
8?
But like I will say, for them, because of how dark it was, like you could have lost. Like when you got down to LSU, you could have lost. Like gave up, not came back in that game. Same thing with Tennessee both times, right? Like we can sit there and say, yeah, we shouldn't have lost to Georgia or Missouri, but at the same time, you could say we won 3 games we shouldn't have won when we were down double digits, and it could have been a 7-11 SEC year.
Yeah.
So I think D+ is the best I could give.
Okay. I think those are all, I think you could have made a case for our C's, and I think we also could have made a case for the D+. I think that really it could go either way. So, taking a break from Kentucky, we'll get right back into that following this segment. We'll get into the SEC, what to look out for there. But we're going to take a break there. We're going to play a little game. So, fellas, tonight, your game is going to be start, bench, and cut. I got 3 different scenarios for you all. So, the first start, bench, and cut is going to be March Madness teams. And I'm going to give you a little back history just in case you did forget these teams. But then the other 2 categories that I give you all, I will not be giving you all. You'll just have to give me your thoughts on what you all will do. So for the start, bench, cut, the first March Madness team is going to be the 2014 UConn Huskies. Going into that, they were ranked number 7. They ended up beating number 10 St. Joseph's. They beat number 2 Villanova. Number 3, Iowa State. Number 4, Michigan State. Number 1, Florida. And then beat the University of Kentucky, who was ranked number 8 in the national championship, to be the national championship team. Your second team is going to be the 2018 Villanova Wildcats, who was ranked number 1. They beat number 16 Radford, number 9 Alabama, number 5 West Virginia, number 3 Texas Tech, number 1 Kansas, and what I remember us all being in Colton and Chance's room at Brescia ended up beating North Carolina in the final second shot to win the national championship. Your last team is going to be the 2012 Kentucky Wildcats, who went through and beat number 16 Western Kentucky, number 8 Iowa State, number 5 Indiana Hoosiers, number 2 UConn, number 3 Michigan State, and number 2 Kansas Jayhawks in the national championship. And just like the other two, did win a national championship. So your 3 teams to choose to start, bench, and cut is going to be, again, the 2014 UConn Huskies, the 2018 Villanova Wildcats, and your 2012 Kentucky Wildcats.
I think we know who's starting, right?
Well, we're starting 80 and the 2012 Cats.
They'd be both
Also,
those
'cause
teams
they-
by 10 plus.
Yeah, because we took down Louisville in that run
I was
the-
there.
to
awesome.
to win it. So that's even a plus. You take down Louisville and Kansas in the same tournament, and
I
to
guess
win it
that wasn't
all.
on. I forgot to put that one on there, but yeah.
Louisville was in the Elite Eight, and then we got. I
No,
think we
Final
beat
Four.
Baylor. Oh, that's right.
We beat
Final
Louisville
Four.
in the
We
Final
beat
Four.
Baylor in the Elite Eight.
Louisville
Final
and
Four.
Kansas and Final Four
Yeah,
national
Yeah,
championship.
Louisville and Kansas. Yeah, that was a great run. So I'm starting them. As far as cutting, I would probably cut. I'd probably cut the UConn one. Personally, that was a great run. However, ultimately we were an 8 seed too when they beat us. Where Villanova essentially took down at least a couple 1 seeds to win it, and a last second shot, like a dream scenario. And we also had Alex Poitras get hurt. I'm just saying, little watered down.
We talked about this today.
Yeah. Alex Poitras got hurt, little watered down. We didn't have Poitras. So I'm just saying that, who knows if it makes a difference or not. I mean, I would put Kentucky's run over that one, like over UConn's personally. The last second shots from Aaron Harrison, but
Oh man, that was so
I
funny.
mean that was awesome. So I'm gonna cut UConn, bench Villanova's.
I like it just because like Shabazz Napier a little bit makes me like, that run. He was fun
Yeah.
to watch, but also the last second shot and Villanova beating North Carolina. I mean, I really can't stand North Carolina. So
Yeah.
I mean that is, you thought North Carolina was like, oh, Marcus Page made that kind of circus
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, great
and
shot.
then Chris Jenkins comes down and hits the game winner. So yeah, I'm going Villanova too.
All right, your next one. Now, this is going to be without any information. I'm not going to tell you how many points they average and all that stuff because that would have took me a long time. Your next category for your start, bench, and cut is going to be players in the NCAA tournament. Your first player is going to be Anthony Davis. Your second player is going to be Christian Laettner. And your third player is going to be Carmelo Anthony.
I tell you who I'm cutting right now.
Cutting Laettner, and
Now,
maybe
I
we do.
mean, fellas,
Listen.
now y'all better be careful because, like, I know we're Kentucky fans. I know we're doing a podcast, but I'm being dead serious though. Like, in only what they're playing in NCAA tournament. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Listen, if you ask me to pick 2 out of those 3 players to lead my team in an NCAA tournament, Christian Laettner's getting cut every time.
Oh, 100%. AD's
I don't care.
possibly the greatest freshman of all time,
And he had
and
Carmelo
led
Anthony.
an entire team to a national championship as a freshman. And
Yeah,
went on to be a number
was
one
Christian
pick.
Laettner, didn't he win 2 times? Wasn't he like a dog? I mean, wasn't he like everybody like kryptonite? I mean, whew, I don't know.
Listen,
You can say we're Duke haters all you want. I'm taking AD and Carmelo Anthony over Christian Laettner every day of the week, and it's not even
I'm
close.
cutting. And
So
I'm
who are
giving
you
a paper
starting, benching, and cutting then?
Starting AD.
I'm starting AD.
He's a presence on both sides of the ball.
Yes, 100%. I mean, had greatest freshman year for sure. I mean, what a leader. I mean,
he came to him during, what was it, the national championship? Was like, Coach, I can't score. Just let everybody else score, and I'm gonna block shots and rebound.
And listen, man, yeah.
I mean,
Melo's on the bench.
Not take that man.
Cutting Laettner, we're leaving him. He's not getting on the bus. Full scholarship.
Okay. All right. Your last one is going to be coaches. Your 3 coaches are
John
Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski, and Dan Hurley.
I mean, obviously, Mason's
I'm
not going to agree. I would start
Coach
Coach K. I would too. I would personally bench Calipari and then Hurley, but just because I think Hurley still has more to prove. Give
That's
him
the
another
only
10 years.
reason. That's the only
Give him
reason I'll agree with you because he's
another
so
10
young.
years and he stays successful. Like, I'll give it to him. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not trying to sit there and complain now, but I still think he has more to prove because like you still have to prove a lot more than just 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, there's several coaches out there that have.
So Mason, you full on board on this?
I will say, yeah, I am right now, just because, like he said, like Dan Hurley so early. I do think, like, you give me 5 to 10 years down the road, I don't think it's a question of Dan Hurley. I put him above him, but right now, I'm fine with it just because he's only been around for a little bit. Let's see if he can sustain it. I think he will, but
Cal just got his 900th win, which moved him to what, 4th all time? Is that right? I think he just moved to 4th
Mason,
all time in wins.
Colton has a notification on his phone just for John Calipari.
No, but I'm just saying though, like, that's crazy. Like, he has the 4th most wins of all time in college basketball.
He probably has triple-digit McDonald's All-Americans.
Mason, he coached like 20 years before he even got to a major program. Like, I mean, let's be honest.
All right. Well, let's not. Okay. Well, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more pushback on some of these start bench cuts.
No,
some other people might have something else to say about those last ones. But so you are starting Coach K, benching Cal, and then Dan Hurley is getting cut. All right. Well, that concludes our start bench cut. Let's jump right back into some Kentucky talk. More, specifically the SEC tournament preview. So, your Kentucky Wildcats will be opening up the SEC tournament for the first game of the tournament, playing the LSU Tigers at 11:30 on Wednesday. You have Mississippi State, who will be playing Auburn. Then for the nightcap, you have Ole Miss and Texas, and then South Carolina and Oklahoma. And then getting the buys, the single buys, you have Missouri, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas A&M, and then your double buys will be Florida, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Arkansas. Colton, kind of what is the preview that you have in your head that, like, okay, and it doesn't have to necessarily be all Kentucky. I mean, obviously this is a Kentucky podcast, so we probably going to highlight some of that Kentucky, but like, I guess let's start with the preview, the avenue, the road that Kentucky has to at least make it to Friday and beating LSU and then going through Missouri. What is it that Kentucky must do? What is it that you're looking like, okay, this is what I think they'll probably do. Like, take it however you want. But I think it is interesting because, we are playing the first game of the tournament on a Wednesday, not getting a bye or double bye. So, I mean, we're talk about minutes, having to, take away minutes from people. I mean, we're not being able to play Saturday, Tuesday. These boys better be ready if they want to make a run because they're going to be playing back to back to back to back to back if they make it to the championship game. So what's kind of your preview?
You've got to win the first 2 games. You got to. Look, you get to Florida and play for the 3rd straight day. There's no shame in losing. You hope to make it competitive. No one wants to go down there and you don't get blown out or anything. But you got to win the first 2. You're better than the first 2 teams. You are better with the current roster you have than the first 2 teams. If you want to gain momentum, you've got to be able to win those first 2 games. And here's the truth. Here's the one thing about the double bye is we've watched some Kentucky teams be rusty, right? Like they got the double bye, and then when they got the play finally, they played a team that had all of a sudden got hot in the tournament. And whether or not, they may have not been as rested, but they had a lot of momentum coming into that game. And that would be your one hope going into the Florida game is that you won 2 games. They hadn't played the first 2 days and you catch them a little asleep. Otherwise, you got to win the first 2 games. Like, there's no excuse to lose the first 2 games or any in the first 2 games. I mean, you're better than the first 2 teams, 100% better than the first 2 teams. So that would be my, like, do that and I'll be happy with the current situation.
Mason, getting your perspective on the avenue before hopping into that, I do appreciate the comments that Mark Pope did make that we do have a coach now, though, that says he wants to go win this SEC tournament and that they're playing to win it. and maybe not a coach that is like the SEC tournament does not matter. I know that was something that we had a lot to say about during that stretch whenever, let's just call a spade, whenever Cal would make some comments like, hey, this tournament doesn't matter. Like, okay, well, it may not matter to you, but it matters to every fan that's in the state of the Commonwealth who's going and buying tickets and investing vacation time and could be their vacation to go to Nashville to watch the Cats. And we're having a coach who's saying, like, this tournament does not matter. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel like my expectation is a little different because, like, when Cal was here, we were what, 1, 2, 3 seed. We felt like we probably had the most talent every year, right? So we felt like we should have won it. At this point with this team, like, would I like to win it? Of course. But is that important to me? And the way our roster is and how many minutes these guys are going to be playing, honestly, don't know if it's our best interest to play 5 games straight and then turn around a week later and go to the NCAA tournament. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Man, I'm like just throwing bait for you, and like it's just not being acted upon. Like I'm like trying to feed you.
He's changed his tone, man.
I mean,
He's changed his tone.
it's just it's different the way that this team is right now, especially with how our roster's built. Like
That's what they're doing to us right now.
I mean, I just like yes, like Holden said, like I feel like we have to win these first 2 games, and would it be awesome to go win the SEC tournament? Yes, but it's like you think about on some of those years when we weren't as good. Like I mentioned the other night, like the Archie Goodwin year. Like I went down there and we played Vandy second day technically. I guess it was a Thursday, and we got blown out by Vandy. And like that year, you know, it was like, we don't really have expectations to win the SEC tournament. But when you're going down there and you're ranked top 5, top 10 in the country, yeah, it matters, right? Like you want to go to prove everybody that you're the best team in the country and you have some momentum going into March. And you know, I would love for this team to get hot, but I just don't think it's in our best interest to play 5 days in a row right now. I really don't.
Interesting. Don't know how Kentucky fans would react to that. I mean, I get your point of view. I do get your point of view. But at the same time, I just don't know. I don't know how overall the fan base. I mean, obviously, you know, we are not investing in that to be down there in Nashville, but some fans have already. What's that, Kobe?
Let me ask you this: would you rather win the SEC championship and get bounced in the first round as like a 6 seed or a 6 seed, or would you rather lose the first or second game of this tournament and then make a run to the Sweet 16 before you're bounced as a 7 or 8 seed? Which one would you rather do?
Go ahead, Dylan.
It's a good question. It really is. So I'm looking at like who, and the reason why I'm thinking about it is because like you look at it like, okay, to get there, we would have to beat Florida, also beat a Tennessee Vanderbilt, then also beat probably an Alabama or Arkansas. You would win an SEC championship going through that. But then also, I understand completely like that's not the NCAA tournament. Man, I don't really know.
Yeah, I saw this question posed, and I was like, man.
Because, like, I mean, like, I would look at that and I'd be like, oh my, like, that's impressive. Like, that's something to, obviously, you don't go deep in the NCAA tournament, but I mean, that, hang your hat on that. Like, that, you won an SEC championship. You went through and you had to play 5 days in a row to do that. I think a bigger question would be, who is it that you lose to in the NCAA tournament, probably? Like, is it like looking at that, like you get beat to if we was a 7 seed, you said, so we'd be playing the 12, would be a 12 seed or 10 seed. I'm just going to be different. I'm going to say the SEC tournament championship because I feel like Mason's going to say March, Sweet 16. So I don't know. I feel like that is a really, really good question there. I don't really have no clear-cut answer. Go ahead, Mason. I don't. I do not have a clear-cut answer.
I mean, for me, it's NCAA tournament. Like I talked about it a little bit a minute ago, and I wasn't always like, would it make me upset like if we lost the SEC tournament and Cal would kind of come out and say that, and I felt like he was maybe using it as a little bit of an excuse because his teams didn't play well? yeah, like I feel like Cal's a good politician. Like he always kind of talks, about stuff like that and tries to say things. But to me, like SEC tournament was never really that important to me. Like I get it. Like we probably had the better players most of the time. Like we probably should have won, but like the year Anthony Davis's year, we lost an SEC championship to Vandy, and then we went on and won a national championship. Like I was in New Orleans for the SEC tournament, and then I went
Now,
back for the
hold on
Final
now.
Four that year.
Winning a championship is a lot different than making it to the Sweet 16, though. That's a big difference.
I understand that. I'm not, but what I'm saying is like, I just don't think the SEC tournament is that important in my eyes every year. Like, is it fun to win? Yes. Have I been at several of them? Yes. But I would much rather us make a run in the NCAA tournament than lose first round in the NCAA tournament. Like, at least that gives me another weekend to be, more excited for the NCAA tournament, one of the greatest sporting events of the year. So, yeah, I'm going with the NCAA tournament.
I think deep down, Colton, I probably I know I said SEC tournament. I'm just saying it to be different. Deep down, I think it probably would be the Sweet 16. But I'm not going to say that it's not. It's just like an easy choice. I think there are some fans who really love the SEC tournament. Mason and not being one of them. I'm not one that just loves it. I enjoy it, but there are some though, they love the SEC tournament. It's probably like a tradition of theirs in their family going to Nashville, used to be Catlanta. I can see why you could make me a case, whether I've done a good job or bad job of it. I could see a case of why in this field where we're at, that the SEC tournament, instead of winning that, instead of make it to the Sweet 16 and losing. I could see that. I don't know. That's a good question.
Personally, between me, I'm actually, for this particular team, I'm actually taking an SEC championship. Believe it or not. I actually am. Because
we don't have a chance to go farther?
Because I don't think we have a chance to go further. You're getting bounced in the Sweet 16, but I think the reality of it is that you know that you're not better than the teams that are still going to be left. So if you make a run here, you at least give the fans something to thrive on, because that the reality is we get beat in the Sweet 16 this year as a 7th seed, it's still going to be the same. Hey, we didn't have enough talent. We don't have a good enough team to beat the best of the best. Great, good little couple game wins, but you didn't have a good enough team. You win the SEC tournament this year, going through the lineup that you're about to have to go through. Yeah,
you proved something.
You did, and you at least put a jolt into the fan base a little bit. More so than what I think winning 2 games in the NCAA tournament will do. So that's just for this particular team. Normal year, I would have sat there and said, no. If you gave me a 3-seed team or Reed Shepherd's and them last year, I'd been like, no. I don't want it. Because that team, I would be more,
Yeah. I think, but you can make a case, though. I do think you can, for sure.
I agree,
like you said.
For sure.
All right, Colton, what's the game you got for us? And then we'll get into the players.
All right, real quick. So I have a list, and I'm going to give you all its top 10 list of the most, no looking up, the most consumed beverages in the United States. Top 10. But you only get, no, you just have to give me a top 10, but you get 4 strikes. So if you list one that's not on there, then that's a strike. So you get 4, and I will just give a hint that there is no alcoholic beverage on here.
Okay.
Or
Mason, I feel like I could.
There is no sweet. There is no milk or sweet tea
or water
or tea or water.
Okay.
Water would be one of mine.
Yeah,
right.
I think
Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper is number 2.
Coke
is number 1.
Diet Coke.
Number 5.
Okay, so that's
Dylan, what do we think about Mountain Dew?
I would honestly, I think Sprite would be higher than that.
I agree.
Sprite's number 3.
Sprite's on there, but what do we think about Mountain Dew? I'm trying to get some of the harder ones out of the way.
Okay, well we have Coke, Diet Coke,
Mountain Dew is on there.
Okay, Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper.
Is that 5? We have 5 out of there.
You have 5 right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Okay.
What about I'm trying to think of restaurants, and I don't think root beer would be on there at all.
No. I was gonna say, what do you think about lemonade?
I was gonna say lemonade, Milo's maybe, or lemonade in general.
Nope. That's strike one.
Oh, man.
garbage.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like, are these all
is it-
soft drinks? Like,
I feel like is like orange juice. Do you think something like that would be on there, Mason? Like orange juice?
shoot it.
Orange juice.
Strike two.
Ah, dang it. It's gonna be all soft drinks. We're America. We're the most obese country in the
What
world.
are we forgetting that we've not
Pepsi?
said?
Are we gonna go
Pepsi,
like
yes, Pepsi. Yes.
Pepsi is on there. Pepsi's number 4.
Okay. All right. So we have Coke,
Garbage.
Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Sprite,
Right.
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
So how many do we have left? 4?
You got 4.
Oh god.
Oh,
You got
man,
2
this
strikes.
is.
Oh
Oh,
gosh. We
man.
only have 2 more strikes.
Yep.
Oh, what about
And there's-
what about Gatorade or something like
Yeah.
Gatorade?
Strike 3.
Strike 3.
What?
We're the most obese country in the world, Dylan. We have to think about soft drinks right now. We're not counting like Mountain Dew Code Red or any like off, like anything like that, right?
What, Diet Pepsi? Do you think Diet
Shut
Pepsi would
up.
be on there, Colton?
Diet
I mean,
Pepsi's on
Mason.
there.
Okay,
Alright,
boom.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
So
So
you're
that
at 7,
we
you
have.
got 3 left.
Listen, 3 left and we only got 1 strike left.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know how many people drink this, but my dad goes through so much Diet Mountain Dew, it might be on this list.
I feel like Diet Mountain Dew is not on this list. But I can see it being on the list.
Hold on. Just ooh. Hear me out, Dylan. Coke Zero.
Okay, I could go for that. I think I'd rather go over that than Diet Mountain Dew.
Coke Zero is on there.
Oh, let's
Okay.
go.
Is
So
there
you
a
got
Diet?
8.
Is there a Diet
got 2
Coke?
more.
There ain't no Diet Coke Zero, is there?
No.
What?
I know it's like Zero Sugar Diet Coke Zero.
Stop talking.
Oh man, Mason. So we got 2 more.
Hold on. What about? All right. So this is like the off-brand Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. Or are we?
I know. I don't think that. I'm almost feeling.
I don't either because I don't know anybody that really.
I feel like I'm
drinks
going Diet
I will
Mountain Dew
say,
more than
I will
that.
say, there's no more diets.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
Man.
Let's just think. What about like an RC? Do people say Sunkist?
No,
Sunkist?
dude. Sunkist is juice. Is that not? Like, I mean, I feel like that's orange
not
juice in my mind.
Dylan.
Okay, then throw that on there. Throw that on there. Sunkist for
Sunkist.
sure.
I will give you Fanta.
Okay. All right.
So I will
Basically
give you
the same
Fanta. So you have 1 strike
Orange
left
soda.
and 1 to get.
Oh gosh.
Oh man. There's no way like root beer or he said there's no more sodas on here. Oh my
I didn't
goodness,
say
I
that.
can't. Oh, okay.
Are we all right? Do we want to go with like a Welch's like grape soda?
No, I think I would say that all fell under Fanta. I'll say Fanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there's a Fanta.
So there's no water, there's no lemonade. I don't think tea would be on there. Would you think coffee would be on there, Mason?
Ooh. I completely forgot about coffee. Coffee has to be on there.
Coffee.
Strike 4.
Oh, this is
Oh my-
garbage.
I'll give you 1 guess. It's named after a country.
Are you about to say like the
I'm lost. I have
Canada
no idea.
Ale?
Canada Dry. Canada Dry.
Canada
Oh, my-
Dry.
I was going to say Sierra Mist, but I was like, okay, not Sierra Mist is on there.
Canada
Wow.
Dry. Ginger ale.
Canada Dry made it? Oh my
Was
goodness.
number 10.
You
People
think about
drink
that.
we are
I'm
very
sit-
unhealthy as a country.
I'm sitting here thinking about how many people I hear, see, take offices coffee every single day. And I just
drink
feel like
coffee
it
every
has,
day.
I know. I feel like coffee is on there much more than Canada Dry. Like I like Canada Dry. Like it's decent, but like I feel like I drink
No.
so much more coffee. Wow. Well, we got I think 7 for sure. Like we were pretty quick on the 7, and then those last
Yeah.
3 kind of we were.
Yeah.
We
We didn't do
Yeah,
bad
we were-
though.
No, we didn't succeed, but we were okay. We were about like Kentucky. All right, so Colton, you want to lead us in this players? I feel like
yeah.
you might.
So it's just the last segment for the night.
Yeah, last segment. We're right at an hour and 3 minutes. So let's
so
try to
the
get
pl-
this in about 2
So
minutes.
the players just a little bit before I want us to do some picks at the end. Name a top 3 that we that we like we had been in the past. But a little bit about the players. I don't know if you all had seen some of the talk about how I know Brandel Chambly or whatever his name is, Chambly, had come out with a comment about how like the players was like greater than any of the majors. That's a little extreme, but I saw some advertisements that they were like essentially talking about like a major in March, and like how I think they are kind of actually working towards possibly even naming the players as a major tournament and making it a fifth major. So I just want to get you all's thoughts. Like, where do y'all stand on the players? Do you think it should be a major? Where do you think its significance lands amongst the majors? So, whoever wants to take it first.
For me,
Go
I
ahead,
feel
Bill.
like, when I look at, whenever it's titled a major, it's kind of giving it that extra lift, that extra, like this, like attraction, I guess is a good word. It gives it that extra attraction. It gives it the field is at the best of the best. You have to obviously like earn your spot there, even though I know you have to do some play ins like for the US Open and the Open, but like you have the best of the best there. With the players, you already have the best of the best there. So, other than the fact of naming it a major, I just don't necessarily see the upside to that. Like, if you done like, okay, for example, the John Deere Classic and said, okay, we're going to make the John Deere Classic a major. Like the John Deere Classic, year in, year out, does not have a stout field. A lot of that is because it's leading up to, I think it's maybe the Open, possibly. It leads up to one of the majors. But the reason for it being a major is it's because it's supposed to have the best field in there. It's like, it's supposed to be really strong, and it's like the attraction, like it's got all the players you want to watch. So for me, the players, it already has all that. So I just don't see an upside to that of just naming it, a major, because the players, it's for the players. This is the tournament for them. They've always said that, like it's for them. So for me, I just don't really see an upside to it. So although I don't think it's a terrible idea, I just don't know like why you would want to call it a fifth major, because really it is already the fifth major. It's just not called a major. So I don't really, I mean, if you just want to call it the major, sure. But I just don't see an upside of doing that because it's already the next best tournament, if other than the majors. And some would say that it's their favorite tournament. I like Memorial. I know that's a really big one. Everybody likes playing that. The Genesis. Um, but as far as the field itself, I mean, it's a stacked field. So I just don't really see anything other than that.
Get it on. In my opinion, I think I look for this tournament than I do like the PGA Championship. All the other majors like the Open, the US Open, the Masters, like I I just like the iconic holes on this, all the hype around it. Like I get it. And in my personal opinion, like I said, I look forward more to this. I guess maybe because it's maybe the first tournament of the year that really has all that hype around it, kind of leading up to the Masters. You kind of get a feel for who's playing well going into that first major. But I look forward to this more than I do the PGA Championship, and that's just my personal opinion. Maybe a hot take, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same. I think since Live, I think it kind of hurts it a bit. But before Live, you're talking about 140 players in this tournament, and it's literally the top 140 whatever players on the PGA Tour. Where like the Masters, you have to be in the top 50 in the world just to make it, and it's a limited field, and you're talking about also adding amateurs to it, and you're adding stuff. But like take like Ricky right now is ranked 60th, and he's finished. He's had 5 events this year and had 4 top 25s and a top 10 in the 5 events. And yet he's set 60th right now. And if he doesn't finish at like a certain thing in the last 2 tournaments, like he's not even going to play at Augusta. And so to me, that waters it down a little bit. Now, granted, the hype and the tradition around the Masters is way more like what you're going to do. But when you talk about the significance of actually winning a tournament, like you may be talked about more winning the Masters, but I would argue that it is more impressive to win the Players than it is the Masters, especially when the Live was still here. Like especially when like if you added Bryson and Rahm and maybe a couple others like into the Players right now, it would be by far the most impressive thing to do to win the Players, because you're not only just beating everyone that's the best on the PGA Tour, but you're beating like the entire tour. Like you're not just talking about in a game that anyone can get hot, like a game that like you can just have it click for a weekend. I would argue that winning the Players is as impressive as any of the 4 majors. Now it doesn't have the significance, obviously, because of tradition and the hype around them, like we talked about. But I would definitely argue that it is more impressive to actually win the Players tournament than it is some of the majors, 100%. So, I mean, if they was the name of the 5th major, I'm like Dylan, I don't know that you have to name it. If you did it, though, in the current schedule, you would have a major in every month of March, April, May, June, and July, and then the playoff starts in August. So, I mean, you would have a major in every single month starting in March until you got to the playoffs in August. So, and that'd be kind of cool. But I think where the Masters is the first one of the year, it adds even a little more hype to the Masters, and I don't think they would want to steal the thunder away from that. So
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever make it an actual major, but who knows? But anyhow, let's do some picks and get out here. So everyone name who they want, like name 2 favorites and a sleeper. Go ahead, Mace.
I'll go ahead. So one of my favorites has already won once this season, had 3 top 10s. Has really just found his game again. Is Colin Morikawa. I think he is he's found rhythm again the last 2 years. I know he won last year or the year before. It was one of those fall events. That's one of those events. Yes, winning is still difficult on the PGA Tour, no matter who's in the field. But yeah, Colin Morikawa has not been to his standard the past 3 to 4 years. So, but he's back and he's playing really good golf right now. He's very consistent, trusting his power fade. Always been a ball striker. This is a ball striker's course. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Colin Morikawa. And then for a sleeper, man, I don't really know if you'd even. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm really wanting to say Akshay, but the way he's been playing lately, I don't think you would even consider him a sleeper. But one of my sleepers that I'm going to throw in there is I'm gonna throw J Rose. I'm gonna say Justin Rose. I just feel like Justin Rose is he sometimes when he gets hot and it clicks, when he gets his putter going, I think he's one of the best putters on the tour. And it's all about just seeing a couple go in, and then he just lights it up. So I'm gonna go Justin Rose for my sleeper and Colin Morikawa as a favorite.
Yeah. So for my 2 favorites, I'm going to go Chris Gotterup, and I'm also going to go with Akshay.
Okay, throw Akshay in there for me too. Then for my favorite too.
Okay. I'll throw Akshay in there because I think I was going to go Morikawa originally, also because I really like him this week, also. But I think Gotterup and I like Bhatia. I mean, you just never know the hangover from the win, but he finished P3 here last year, and he is obviously playing very well. But my sleeper is going to be the guy that lost to him. Is Daniel Berger. I really like Daniel Berger's game, and I think that since he finally come back from his injuries a little over like a year and a half ago, he was doing very well until he had an injury and it put him back, and then it's like he's slowly getting back into
He
a
just beat
rhythm.
Scotty in a playoff, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was balling, and he had the injury, and he just had a down season, and then he come back from the injury finally, and he slowly got better last year, and now I feel like he's had a good season to start out with so far, and so I think he's going to continue to ride that momentum. He's played this course well in the past, so I'm going to ride with Daniel Berger as a sleeper.
Daniel Berger. I thought you was going to say Ricky.
Well, it was between Ricky and Siwoo Kim. Also, just throwing it out there while we're live, while we're recording, so it's on record.
Well, fellas, big week for us as Kentucky fans. Again, the expectation is not win one, but win 2 games for sure. Would love to be able to make it to Friday and see Florida. If the Cats can do that, I think that would be a success for the SEC tournament and just see what you can do on that Friday. But yeah, we'll for sure be tuning in. Again, thank you all for listening. And this has been another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. As always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.